Hey everybody, so today I'm going to be working on two different things in the moment here. First thing I want to work on is with the shifter here. You can see kind of in the middle of the screen the two silver cotter pins that go through. Originally my dad had cotter pins in here because the old hardware broke, and that's just what we had that could fit. So I did some research, and the top cotter pin that you see there is supposed to be 1/4 by 20 by 1.25 inches, 1.25. And then the bottom cotter pin is a 5/16, well, what I refer to it as a roll pin, but I think it's actually considered a spring pin, which I have here. And it's supposed to be 1 inch. I also got 1.5 inch one because I was unsure if that's bent in any way at all. And then lastly, by looking at the diagram, the actual shifter, which is kind of at that 45-degree angle, the diagram shows that shifter on the bottom. So I might move that to see what it looks like, what it feels like, etc. Once I get that done, I'm going to be taking more fuel out of the system. The other day when I had this thing going and we had the bad fuel situation, that's why it was really smoky, it was the bad fuel. But I had pushed out a lot of bad fuel, but unfortunately I had to blow the main line coming from the carburetor here all the way back, and that aerated that tank. So I'm hoping now that it's been sitting for 2 days, the nasty junk gas that was settled before will be settled again, and I'll be able to push out more using my inventive leaf blower technique, which I'll show you guys that again. Pretty simple. It's kind of funny actually. Once I know that the fuel's out, I got to go through this carburetor again, blowing it out. This will be like the 4th time. And hopefully from there, it might be the last time I have to clean out this carb. Just got you guys sitting on the seat on that side. Gonna get my leaf blower started. So as you guys seen, it sounds really healthy. The first time I got it running, it was smoking a lot. That's kind of the video we have on our Facebook page. And that was a lot of old gas that was burning, but it doesn't smoke at all now. And yeah, seems to be running really nice. So what we have to do now is we have to get this thing jacked up, that way I can put it in gear and start working on some of the chains and everything else. Alright, so I ran this thing for probably a half hour. It's doing pretty good. Needs some fine tuning. I really oiled up all the chains and I let it just I've made it idle just high enough to where they just keep moving so I can put oil on everything. Brakes and all, because the brakes are right there by the chain, so it's going to take some more time to get it all worked in, right? But it's doing pretty good. I have a weird, it's not like a knock, and it's not coming from the motor. The motor runs awesome, but there's this weird knocking type noise coming from somewhere in this area. So I had read that this gets lubricated because these metal plates come together and they move. And where is it? There it is. And so I lubricated that quite a bit, and you know, I think that's helping. I think they're kind of clacking together. Also, these brakes are just kind of floating around. Like this one has pins in it, this one does not, and they're just kind of clacking around. So that could be it too. Otherwise, you know, it could be something on the front portion right there in that housing. I have to look up the lubrication specs for that thing there, but it you know, works like it should. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, oh yeah, the middle shaft on that side is bad, and the middle shaft on this side is kind of bad, but I don't think it's bad enough where it's going to affect it very much. So now they turn with ease, but it's just a little bad. So I'm going to get my impact and zip off all these bolts because I need to grease the zerks. I think there's zerks on this side of the machine on the outside. Getting everything properly lubricated is pretty important also. Alright, we have the wheels off of this side, and there's two greasable points. The top grease zerk goes to the inside. The side one there greases the shaft, and that's what actually keeps it waterproof. Now, this shaft is bent, this center one. I went to grease this one and noticed the grease was coming out kind of weird. A piece of it has broken off. I don't think this is my doing because that's not a point of stress for this thing, but especially for the grease. But I'm going to need another shaft, or at least the cap. Oh my gosh, it fits. I have just placed an order online, and it'll be here in the next, I think it said 2 to 7 business days. Axle shafts, battery terminals, a whole bunch of parts. Unfortunately, what I do need is to get into the clutch so I can see what's worn out and what needs to be replaced. Okay, I have the exhaust taken out. At some point, this thing had an exhaust leak, and my dad had welded it from the top, but unfortunately he didn't grab the bottom. So you can see kind of the dark color. That's the exhaust leak on the bottom. So while it's off, I'll get the tab re-welded on, and then this exhaust leak will get fixed. Hey everybody, so this is the clutch. This is the one on the motor side, not the transmission side. And this is what makes that knocking noise you hear as it's idling up, or even idling. It kind of has this knocking noise. Well, these bushings wear out over time, and the reason I have it pulled together is I don't actually have like an 1.5-inch socket to do this, but over time they wear. And you can see, look at the flat spots on this. This one has flat spots, that one has flat spots. So we're going to order the whole kit and caboodle here. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, so these are just really sloppy in here. Obviously they're going to have some slop the way they sit right now because it is compressed. But this up and down slop, and it'll have outward slop, is actually causing this to hit on the bell, causing that knocking noise. That's why it's very metallic. Oh. Alright, so now we're just going to pound that through and pull it out on the inside. Oh, well, I just made a mistake. I cut that outer edge off, but the inside has a spline on it, so those sprockets won't come off this way. There is a little bit of room though, right there, so I think I'm going to try to get the cut off in there and nip that side off and hopefully get this shaft out of here. I'm sick of dealing with it. Let's see what we can do. Okay, I ran to the store and picked up a few cut-off wheels, got this thing rotated around, and got the end of this is the bearing, and the end of the shaft cut off of there. Now, all that we should have to do is pull the shaft out, or more importantly, pound it out like we would normally, and that'll be it. Alright guys, we got it out, and I'm going to show you what all went down. Okay, so here we have some of the parts, and I think all of these parts are going to get replaced. This is the outer bearing, and the reason why I want to replace it is because I had such a hard time. I had the hardest time getting the shaft out because, if you can see it, that bend, this is cut like in half. So the bend that you're seeing here was actually like kinking, if you will. And you can see it better there. If you look at it, you can really see she's pretty bent. So it was kinking in both bearings, and I had to beat and beat and beat this thing. I mean, like, I think I've been hitting it with a hammer for about 4 hours. And to put that in this perspective, this is a 15 mil, I think, 18 millimeter socket that has paid the price that'll never work again because it was the only thing that would fit in the bearing hole to beat it out. And just look at it, it's done. So that was really annoying. And now I was really hoping to get this whole side done and wrapped up tonight. And now I found out I have to order a couple bearings for it. And so it won't be able to get finished this evening like I was hoping. So that's it though. I'm done for the night. I'm worn out. My neck is killing me from bending over in there. So I'm going to go look up a couple more parts and get back at it tomorrow.